Hi guys, this video is about a project I've been meaning to do for a long time now. I've always really wanted a really sweet directional powder board, preferably like a swallowtail or a fish, but I've never wanted to dish out the cash on an extra one when I spend all my money on nice twin park and freestyle boards. So what I decided to do is pick up a old cheap board and I'm going to make it into a swallowtail slash fish. So the board I got is a 164 wide Burton Bullet from 2013. There's a few main reasons why I chose this board that I'll go through with you. First of all, I needed something cheap. I wasn't spending $300, $400, $500 on a powder board, so I needed something cheap. I ended up spending a bit more than I wanted, but I got it for $100, so I can't really complain. Number two, I wanted something really long, where I'm going to be cutting out the back to make it a swallowtail. It's going to make it feel and ride a lot shorter and take off a lot of the length. So if I started with a 155 or 150, it'd end up feeling like a 140. So starting with a 164, it'll ride more like the regular size board I ride, which I usually ride somewhere between a 150 and a 156, depending on if I'm doing big stuff or small jib street stuff. Reason number three is that it's a wide board. The wider a board is, the better it floats in powder. It got more surface area to stay on top of it, and that's why you see powder boards with a waist width of like 270 millimeters. Most of my normal boards have a waist width around 245, 250 mil. This one's just over 260. I think it's 262 it says on the spec sheet. So that extra centimeter and a half will give it that bit extra float I want. This board has a V-rocker profile. I probably would have preferred having some type of camber in the back for more carving control with a big powder rocker nose in the front, but beggars can't be choosers when you're spending $100, and rocker all the way through will mean it won't be the greatest on groovers when I do take it on it, but it will really float well in powder, which is what I'm going for anyway, so I'm pretty happy with it. The board itself is in pretty decent condition. There's a few nicks on the nose and tail, and the bottom has a few little gashes in it, but nothing too major that'll need repair yet. Took a little piece of tape and just kind of sketched out a swallowtail. This is definitely going to be far from my final design, but I was just excited to see how it would look underneath my feet with the little V out of it, and I think it's going to look really sick. This board already has 1 inch of setback, so the binding inserts and the radius is 1 inch closer to the tail than it is to the nose. With that, I won't have to slam the bindings back too far, because you got to do that with a lot of boards to make them into powder boards. So I might be able to ride in the regular stance, and then you'll stay centered on your side cut radius, which really helps. So first up, to clean off this board a little bit, I'm going to use some Goo Gone and remove all the stickers well, because I don't like stickers on my board personally. And then I'm going to clean up the base and give it a wax, because I feel like it might be a bit harder once I chop it up to wax it, so I'm just going to do it beforehand. So as you see, sometimes when you take off stickers, they leave that sticky residue from the sticker underneath. These other ones came off already, but what you do, take a little Goo Gone, squirt it on there, and let it sit for like maybe 15-20 minutes. And when you come back, the goo's kind of melted and it'll wipe off really easily with just a paper towel. Alright, just finished getting my board all waxed up and tuned. She's good to go. The next thing was to choose a type of shape. With something like this, you can always go for a bigger cut later, but starting small is probably good because if I hate it, I don't have to go any bigger. I looked around at some boards I liked online, and the one I liked the most was the Nitro squash. So I went in Photoshop and did some scaling, cutting out, and I got this template out of the picture of the Nitro squash. So just cut this out here now. Alright, next thing to decide, now they got the shape I want. It looks pretty good on the board actually, I'm happy with it. Is how far forward or backward I want it. So this is the 164, so I wouldn't mind the total length up to here being probably around 155 when I'm done, and then the length down here will be more in the high 140s range. So, let's see. So in this cut here, the cutout is about 7 centimeters deep. So from the top, we want to bring it down, say, 9 centimeters. 9 plus 7, so 16. So about there, we'll make it a 155 total. I like the way that looks because it still has a little tiny bit of kick here. So for riding switch, you do have some chance of not catching, but it still is going to make it quite a bit shorter, so I think that'll work out well. Going to mask the whole thing off with masking tape, so I can draw on it without having to actually draw on the board itself. So I got it all laid out here now. I'm actually going to go back to the printer and scale it up a tiny bit more. It's not quite reaching the ends here, and I don't want to have to lose any of my edge, so I'll make it a tiny bit bigger there and it should fit perfect. Alright, so here's the next version of the template. This one fits a lot nicer. So now I just gotta get it squared up and I'll tape it down so I can trace it out. Alright, we're all squared up now, so I'm going to use this method here to mark where I'm going to cut before I take this away. And we're left with a nice outline of it. Now I'm going to carefully go through and connect all the edges. I'm going to use a ruler for this. So now you can start getting a good idea of what the shape's going to look like. So I'm going to put it down the ground, pretend it's a board, and see if I'd be happy with that. Alright, I measured everything out and stood on it, and it looks perfect to me, so this is the cut I'm going to go with. The full length of the board to here is going to be about a 155, 154, and to this cut here, that is a total running length of about 148, 147, somewhere around there. So, I think that's perfect, just what I was looking for. So this will be our first one, and if someday we want to go deeper, we can always recut it. That's where I'm going to start. So I'm going to do this cut in 2 stages. First I'm going to get through the metal edges with just a handsaw, and then I'm going to use a jigsaw to do the rest. Maybe drill a few pilot holes to make it a bit easier to get the right shape, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, there's the 2 metal edges gone through. It was actually a lot easier than I expected. So now on to the jigsaw. So the jigsaw is actually too thick to fit into the hole I already cut. So what I'm going to do is start from the inside, and how I'm going to do that is I would use using a drill bit, the same diameter as the width of the jigsaw blade. So I'll let me start on the inside there. So I'll drill it in the part that's going to be taken off, just so that the edge is on the cutting face, and then we'll sand it off smooth after. That cut through is super easy. So you can see it turned out pretty well. A few imperfections. I think it's a bit crooked, but we can sand it to be absolutely even. And it got just enough kick there. I think it'll be possible to ride switch, but I think we took enough up that it'll float nice and power. So let's clean it up. So the final cut was, it's not bad. It's a bit on the rough side, as you can see. There's a few places where it burred up a bit. But I'm going to sand it down all pretty, and then we're going to finish it with like a varathane or something so the water won't get into the wood core. And then it should be done.
Chuki Beats.
There we go. The edge is all smoothed off nicely. And we just gotta finish it and it'll be good to go. So I just finished up masking up all the edges so that it's only gonna get the finish on the edges here. So I'm going to be using a polyacrylic protective finish, durable protection, clear satin. Hopefully that'll work well enough. It won't be as durable as the metal edges, but hopefully at least that'll keep the water out and keep it from rotting. And apply a pretty thin coat, I guess. I'll probably do 2 or 3 coats of this to make sure that it is well protected.
Chuki Beats.
Alright guys, so here we have the finished product. The urethane on the back is all dried and actually has a really nice finish to it, I think. Turned out pretty well. The stencil turned out alright. It might be a bit crooked, but it'll be good enough to float through snow. Just to recap on everything, this is a Burton Bullet 164 wide. I chose a long wide board because with cutting it down, it's going to make it shorter. and I chose a wad because wider bases float better in POW. Full rocker profile for that good float. In total, with the cut down length, it is a 155, which is a perfect size for me. Nice soft flex too. So hopefully get some snow soon to test this out, because right now, as you can see, everything's still pretty green. We had a little snowfall there for a bit that lasted a few days, but now it's all gone. I just finished my last exam earlier this week, and Jennifer has her last one today, so we should be good to be making lots of videos over the winter holiday, so be sure to subscribe. A big thank you to you guys. We just hit 100 subscribers the other day, so that's a huge milestone for us. So definitely stay tuned for part 2, where when we get deep enough powder, I'm going to use this and see how it works out, and maybe if you consider doing something like this in the future, you can see how it works and see if that's something you'd want to do. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe. See you later.